Some of you may find this video controversial. Okay, for a long time people have been asking, should we be heating our honey? Because many old mead recipes call for heating honey. People still find them. They want to know, should we do it? Should we not do it? Or what are the pros? What are the cons? So I went on the internet, did a little Google foo, and found reasons why people may think it's a good idea to do it. And I found reasons why you shouldn't heat your honey. So let's get into it. Number one is sanitization. People believe that by heating the honey, or boiling it is what they actually call for, in water for 15 to 30 minutes, they kill off any bad stuff. They could be in there sanitizing the honey. Well, here's the thing. It's just really not necessary. The way honey works, it's really not necessary to do that, and this idea has largely gone the way of the dodo. Number two, some people worry about wild yeast that's naturally present in the honey overtaking any colony that they add and creating problems down the line, competing off flavors, this kind of thing. Well, it's not likely. You have a very, very, very tiny colony of wild yeast versus a very, very, very large colony of introduced yeast, and we have a different strength policy here. I mean, any commercial yeast is going to be a lot stronger, not going to be an issue. Number three, pathogens, bacteria, etc. Basically, bad bugs. People believe, this goes along with sanitization, but it is kind of a separate idea. They believe that by heating the honey, they are killing off all of these pathogens and bacteria. Well, here's the thing. There's probably no pathogens or bacteria in the honey to begin with. Now, this is assuming real, genuine honey. If it's some of that stuff that's mixed with corn syrup or cut in any way, there's a possibility. So, take that with a grain of salt, depending on what product you're actually heating. Number four, to liquefy it. Now, if you've ever tried to mix straight honey and cold water, it's difficult. We know this. So heating the honey a little bit to like 110 Fahrenheit, which is 44 Celsius for those of you on the metric system, will actually help it to liquefy and mix a little bit better. Warm water works too, but nothing more than that 110. Because why? Once we go past 110, we start getting into the range of killing your yeast, which is kind of defeating the purpose of making a mead in the first place. Number five, to make a bochet. Now, if you don't know what a bochet is actually mead made with cooked honey. So this is probably the only valid reason that I was able to find for actually heating honey, because it's a requirement to make the mead. Otherwise, it's not a bochet. There's all the reasons why people believe or why they do heat honey. Now let's get into why you shouldn't do it. Number one, it's more work for you on brew day. I mean, who needs to add to the list of tasks that we have to do on every brew day, right? Keep it simple. Work smart, not hard. Number two, it can burn off subtle, volatile aromatics that are in some of your more exotic honeys, even in your just good quality, straight up wildflower, clover, orange blossom honeys. There are subtleties in there that heating it can actually burn off and remove because they're going off into the air. They're just gone. Number three, nearly any commercial yeast can kill off almost any wild yeast. It's probably not likely, like I talked about earlier with the wild yeast, it's not very likely that commercial yeast couldn't keep up with or even pace out a wild yeast. It's all about numbers. When you take a honey, you have a very small amount of yeast in there. There's not actually a lot. They have to get together and build up because it's so concentrated that they can't survive on their own, so they can't really build up. But as soon as you dilute that and you start adding your commercial yeast to it, boom, now you have an explosion of a yeast colony that can easily overtake any wild yeast. Number four, it can alter the flavors. See my reasoning for the bochet above. It actually changes the honey. It changes the flavors of the honey. It darkens it. It makes it like, you can get very, very, very dark bochet. It changes the honey chemically and in taste, in appearance, everything. So heating it even a little could make these changes. Will it every time? Not necessarily, but it is something to keep aware of. And number five, it's just unnecessary. There's just really, I cannot come up with a good reason to heat honey other than bochet, other than a bochet, that is the only one. Other than that, I can't come up with a really good reason for heating honey, and certainly not for boiling it in water for 15 to 30 minutes like a lot of older recipes call for. That said, if anyone knows of any more reasons why people boiled or heated their honey, or why they still do today, good or bad, whether they're, good reasons or just what people believed, I want to hear about them below so everybody can kind of hear these fables and myths and some of the truths, because there could be something that I missed, as well as, are there more reasons to not heat your honey? I want to hear about those too. So this way everybody can learn. And as always, guys, thank you so much for watching and have a great day.